They say some men just want to watch the world burn, and I am one of those men, hence the theme of this video, which is watching America get destroyed by zombies. I decided to start off our apocalypse with 1,500 zombies, splitting them up equally between 3 states chosen at random to make it fair, except for Wisconsin, which I put twice, because nobody likes Wisconsin. Just kidding, I didn't actually do that. The time came for us to spin the wheel for the first victim, which was Arizona. Then we spanned for the second, which was Wisconsin? I swear I didn't plan that. It actually just ended up being Wisconsin. I couldn't lie though. I was very happy they'd be one of the first states to go. Then we spanned for the third. Which state would be the final first on the conveyor belt to doomsday? The suspense killed me. And it was Virginia. I was happy to have an even spread across America, with no state being too far away from a state that inherited the infection, besides perhaps some of the southern states as well as the Northwest. But rest assured, this would only slightly delay their imminent doom. I quickly spawned the zombies, and we were finally ready to begin. Arizona met the zombies head on, sparing not a single man in their fight against the undead. They were ground zero, and they knew if they could stop the horde here, they could prevent the zombies from reaching any of the neighboring states. Unfortunately, even though they fought with all their might, they soon realized their efforts were futile, and their army quickly joined the ranks of the undead. But their king still stood, or I guess it would technically be their, governor, whose name was, Doug Ducey, which I somehow misspelled despite seeing it like 5 seconds ago. Doug Ducey, who had all the traits of a good leader, such as, you know, being wise, having a golden tooth, and being evil, was not going to go down without a fight. He fended them off for as long as he could, but eventually caught the eyes of the horde, and it was overrun. Meanwhile, Wisconsin had nearly fallen, thank God, and the horde headed to the west, funneling into Minnesota and North Dakota. North Dakota attempted to hold the state line between Minnesota and North Dakota, but the zombies, having already desecrated the armies of Minnesota and Wisconsin, were now armed to the teeth with deadly weapons. They held for as long as they could, choosing instead to range the zombies from a distance to avoid being bitten. But this horde had grown to colossal numbers, and they could only hold them off for so long. With no army to defend themselves, North Dakota's numbers dropped quickly, Iowa's numbers started to wear thin, and the horde also began to invade South Dakota from the north. Nebraska and Wyoming's armies joined together in hopes of stopping the horde here. Alone, this task seemed impossible, but perhaps with their combined forces they could reign victorious. For if South Dakota was lost, their fates would soon be the same. The East Coast also started to become a ghost town, with states like Alabama and Georgia falling to double digits, as well as Virginia and, Carolina? Which apparently there's no North and South Carolina on this map, just Carolina. The horde also made it far up north, with states such as Ohio and Pennsylvania reaching critical numbers, and New York started to come under attack. The number of the undead had now reached half that of the living, and many of those living had become infected. Though with the humans still outnumbering the undead 2-1, they still had the advantage. But would it be enough? We would see. At this point, states had begun to become completely devoid of life. Georgia and Carolina had fallen, as well as Illinois and Wisconsin. Pennsylvania, it seemed, was next on the chopping block. Their last citizen would soon be found, and they would be no more. They were soon followed by North Dakota, Iowa, as well as Arizona, which I'm really surprised lasted this long. Less targets meant more concentrated efforts of the horde. With every state that fell, the dangers became more and more, dangerous. The East Coast had now been desecrated, and the zombies began to move further and further inland, hitting hard on states such as Kentucky, Tennessee, as well as Alabama and Florida. And to the north, Ohio and Indiana were in the single digits. But they were a proud people, and this man, O'Fanip, would not die without a fight, going as far as to punch the zombies with his bare fist to protect their sacred state, which went about as well as you'd expect. His son, Osi, having inherited his father's stupidity, tried the same, and yeah, he also died. Indiana and Kentucky soon also fell to the undead, as well as Missouri and Nevada. But some states would not go down so easy. Montana, South Dakota, and Minnesota, despite being neighboring states to the initial infection, had managed to stay alive. The West Coast states were faring the best though, all still above 400 population. But with only 19 states left, and with the East Coast now completely devoid of life, there was no telling whether or not they'd be able to survive the now much more focused and condensed horde. Next to fall were Nebraska, Montana, followed by Idaho and Maine. Why the citizens of Maine didn't just get on boats and sail away? We'll never know. It wasn't long before all the mid-states had fallen, and all that remained was the West Coast. Washington, Oregon, and California were our final contestants. But who was the one that would outlast the others? We would have to find out. Washington had dropped to double digits, now with only 65 population left. Oregon and California were not far behind though. Oregon dropping below 100 population, followed by California. Soon, Washington fell, which spelt doom for Oregon, being as all the Washington zombies now headed south, hungry for brains. Oregon's population began to drop rapidly, with the last citizens hiding in their homes, hoping the undead would pass them by, but it was to no avail. California was now the last state standing, but they were soon to join the others. 5 citizens remained, and the countdown had begun. 5, 4, and... okay, I guess we just skipped to 0. America had been overrun, but rest assured, this was not the end. For amongst the wreckage there still stood one survivor, and he would not be so easily subdued.